Hey Rulers, this is Jamaal Hobson, and I love our Rule 1 Toolbox. And as a matter of fact, in this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. When we're sitting down, having those one-on-one sessions with students at workshops, a lot of the questions are, how do we do this, and where do I get this information, and is there help available, are there tools available? And the answer is yes. I genuinely love the Rule 1 Toolbox because what it does is it aggregates information from various different disparate places, and it allows the regular everyday person to find a company, take a look at that company, and be able to fairly quickly analyze the company and make a determination: is this a wonderful company or not? Is this a company that's going to be here or not? Whereas without the toolbox, I have to go to various different places to get the data. I don't have the tools that I need to identify perhaps something like a future growth rate. And then the way that we go about valuing companies, we have three very specific ways: our 10 cap, our margin of safety valuation, and our payback time valuation. And all three of those are all built into the toolbox as well. So you've got one place to do all of your research, to do all of your valuations, to get everything done. And the toolbox is just a fantastic tool for that. As a ruler, every day I can get into the toolbox and I can just run a search to see if there's any companies out there that meet my minimum criteria. And that should give me, let's just say, a small number of companies to work with. So for example, let's say that I was interested in the restaurant industry. I spent a lot of years working in that industry. So as a ruler, I could go into the toolbox and run a search for all publicly traded restaurant companies. And then as I look at those companies, I can begin to filter through so that I only have the best of the best by looking at different scores, return on metrics, growth rate, various different things that we have built there into the toolbox. Once I have that list of companies narrowed down to a manageable size, right? Small number of companies. Now I can really start to dig deep, looking at financial statements, trying to assess a future growth rate, trying to figure out what this company is worth today and what's it going to be worth in the future, 10 or 20 years from now, if the company is going to be here 10 or 20 years from now. So some criteria that people may be using within the toolbox might be something like return on invested capital or return on equity. Or maybe we want to know if the company even has a moat. We've got a proprietary moat score built into the toolbox that can help identify if the company has a moat and how strong that moat is. So we've got lots of tools built in that are going to help us paint that picture to separate one company from the next. So literally as a ruler, I'm finding companies, I'm analyzing companies, I'm analyzing their financial statements, I'm assessing a growth rate, and then placing a valuation on these businesses to figure out what they're going to be worth in the future and what I want to pay today for what that company is going to be worth in the future. An example of using the toolbox might be beginning with our scan tool and trying to find a list of publicly traded restaurants. Maybe you've worked in a lot of restaurants in your past like I have. And so I want to know which restaurants are out there being publicly traded. So I'll run a search and get back a list of those restaurants, and immediately I'm looking for, do I recognize any of these names? So if I see a Texas Roadhouse or a Chipotle Mexican Grill or a Darden Restaurants, do I know these different restaurants? And if I do, I'll add them to my list to begin to research a bit more. Okay, so now that I've got these companies on my watch list and I start to research them within the toolbox, I'm reading their annual reports. I'm going through financial statements. I'm reading shareholder letters, as much information as I can on each one of those companies so that I know, how does Chipotle measure up against Texas Roadhouse, and how does Texas Roadhouse measure up against Darden? Right? And do all of these restaurants really line up with each other side by side? This way, again, I can compare apples to know which of those restaurants is the best of the best. And so perhaps through my process, I might say, wow, look at how fast Chipotle has grown over these past 10 years. What an amazing company. I wish I could own this company on sale. What is on sale? And so now I've got to go through that process of placing a value on Chipotle and then deciding what my on sale price is, because I certainly don't want to pay full price for any company that I'm invested in. So whether it's a Chipotle, whether it's Texas Roadhouse, whether it's Darden Restaurants, or whatever company that you're looking at to determine whether or not this company is in fact a wonderful company, you're going to go step by step through that toolbox using all the tools that we built in, to include things like your future growth rate and your 3 evaluation methods, to know what the end looks like for Chipotle, Texas Roadhouse, or Darden Restaurants. To get access to the toolbox, which is an incredible tool, one can just go to rule1investing.com and you can just sign up for a subscription. And we've got some videos that'll teach you how to use the toolbox and walk you through some exercises. But if you want to get deep into the toolbox, you've got to come to our workshop. You have to come to a workshop, and we're going to teach you the Rule 1 style of investing from A to Z. And you'll then be able to use that toolbox more effectively and more efficiently as you're finding and valuing wonderful companies.